All right, let's do this. In the next 5 minutes, we are going to walk through an entire career in Germany, all the way from the job hunt to retirement. And by the end, you're going to have all that essential B1 vocabulary you need to talk about the world of work and just nail that exam.
What do you do for a living? It's one of the very first questions you're likely to hear in Germany. And soon, you won't just know how to answer it, you'll understand the entire vocabulary world that's built around that one simple question.
So, every career journey has to start somewhere, right? For us, it starts with a search. Let's build our foundation with the most fundamental words you need when you're looking for a job. First up, we have der Beruf. Now, I want you to think of this as your capital P profession. It's the career you actually trained for, like being an engineer or a doctor. It's really tied to your qualifications and your long-term career path. Then we've got die Arbeit. This one is much broader. It refers to the general act of working, or the tasks you do. So when someone in Germany says they're going zur Arbeit, they mean they're going to work. It's the whole concept of labor. And finally, there's der Job. This is the most specific and honestly the most casual term of the three. It's the actual position you have right now, the gig that, pays the bills. So your Beruf might be graphic designer, but your current job is working at a specific marketing agency. See the difference? Okay, so are you your own boss, or do you work for somebody else? If you're freelance or self-employed, the word you're looking for is selbstständig. But if you're an employee on a company payroll, you are angestellt. It's a really simple but absolutely crucial distinction.
Okay, so you landed the job. What's next? Well, you're going to be surrounded by a whole new cast of characters. So let's get into the vocabulary you'll need for all the people you're about to meet. What's cool is that the German language itself kind of reveals the hierarchy here. The employer is der Arbeitgeber, literally the work giver. And the employee, der Arbeitnehmer, the work taker. Simple as that. Alongside them, you've got der Chef or die Chefin for your boss, and the general term for an employee is der Angestellte. Day to day, you'll be working with your colleagues or Kollegin, your colleagues. You'll be part of a team, which might be led by an Abteilungsleiter, which is the department head. And while you are an Arbeitnehmer, your boss will probably refer to you and everyone else as Mitarbeiter or coworkers.
All right, we know the people. So where does all this work actually happen? Let's take a look at the different kinds of workplaces.
So your workplace, your Arbeitsplatz, could be das Büro, the office, or maybe it's die Fabrik, the factory. A craftsman, on the other hand, works in die Werkstatt, a workshop. And you'll often hear Betrieb and Firma used as general terms for a company or a business.
Now, if you are in an office, let's zoom in on what's around you. You're going to be sitting at your Schreibtisch, that's your desk, working on your computer, and maybe using the Drucker to print something. You'll keep your papers organized in an Ordner or a binder, and you'll write notes with a Kugelschreiber, a pen. These are your everyday tools of the trade.
Okay, let's talk about maybe the most important part of any job, the contract. It's time to get into the nitty-gritty vocabulary for your working conditions and, of course, how you get paid.
Now pay attention because this is a really key distinction in Germany. Der Lohn usually refers to wages, so money that's paid hourly or weekly, often for manual labor. Das Gehalt, on the other hand, is a fixed monthly salary which is really common for office workers or Angestellte. You earn a loan, but you receive a Gehalt. Every job has a kind of life cycle. It all starts with die Einstellung. That's the hiring process. Then comes the Probezeit, a trial or probationary period, which is super common in Germany. And eventually, it ends, one way or another, with die Kündigung. That's the termination of the contract, whether you quit or you're let go.
And of course, you're going to need to talk about your schedule. The Arbeitszeit are your working hours. You might work Teilzeit, which is part-time. Any extra hours you put in are Überstunden, overtime. And here it is, the best word of all, der Urlaub, your vacation time. All right, for our last section, let's zoom all the way out. You see, work in Germany doesn't just happen in a bubble. It's actually governed by some pretty powerful systems and organizations. So two key groups are there to protect workers' rights. First, you have die Gewerkschaft, the trade union. This is a huge organization for an entire industry, like all metalworkers or all pilots. Then you have der Betriebsrat, that's the Works Council, and it's an elected group that represents employees inside one single company.
Now, when a Gewerkschaft makes some strong Forderungen, some demands that aren't being met, they have a very powerful tool, der Streik, the strike. And this isn't some rare thing. It's a fundamental and even respected part of the German labor system.
And after a long Beruf, a long career, the journey ends right here. Die Rente is the state pension you get after you retire. It's the financial foundation for your life after you're done with work.
So we've seen all the players, right? From the individual worker all the way up to these powerful unions. It kind of leaves us with a final question for you to think about. Between the company bosses, the huge industry-wide Gewerkschaft, and the company-specific Betriebsrat, who do you think really holds the power in the German workplace? Something to chew on.